Welcome. In this video, we're going to take this code and we're going to turn it into this. So it's going to be really cool. The best part is that you really don't need a lot to set up. So let me share with you what I have. So as far as files, you're going to need your index file connected to your style and empty style sheet. We're going to do the whole thing. And for the picture, you need a banner or a graphic that is 1920 by 1080 or something along those lines. It doesn't have to be that, it just needs to be big, because when we resize, it's going to stretch and adapt and change like a ninja should. So that's all you need. As far as the code here, all you need is a header. Of course, you need your document type and all that good stuff. All this that I have here is just extra stuff. You don't need it. So that's all you need, really. Let me Control X. That's all you need. All right. So let me see what else. Okay, so I'm gonna be using brackets, but remember, you can use the editor of your choice. And I also have live preview enabled, and I'm using Emmet to code. So if you know how to use Emmet, go ahead. If you don't, then you can just type the tags anyway. All right, so let's get started. Let's check the style sheet first here. Oh, yes, this is important. Also, I have already selected my fonts because they're important. Typography is important for web design and interface design. So I'm gonna use two fonts. One called Ceviche 1 and the other one Ratios. So cursive. Anyway, now you can use whatever you want. I think if we look at the graphic, those kind of look ninja-like, so that's why I chose them. Anyway, all right, so we're ready to get started. So go set up and come back. Hey, welcome back. That didn't take long. All right, so let's get working with this. So first thing I guess I'm gonna do, I'm going to connect my file with this because I haven't done it. So there it is, and let me see, style.css. All right, so it's connected now. Now let's go to the style CSS. I'm going to start working. All right, so first thing we're going to do, I guess, is work with the header. So header, let's set the background. Not the graphic yet, but just something so we have an idea how things are looking. And there it is. Let's add a padding. So let's do 10 pixels. And top and bottom, and let's do 0 for the size. Okay. And that works. So now, okay, now I don't like this gap right here on the side, so let's get rid of it. That's probably from the body, so let's set it to margin 0. Right, we're good. Now we're side by side, and that's good. Now let's go ahead and add the graphic. So we're gonna say background image. It's gonna be URL, and we're going to go to pics / and let's send that you. All right. Oh, look at that. All right. So my guess is that the graphic is actually there, but it's big. Okay, so I guess what we need to do now is to make this height greater. So let's do that. So let's do about 400 pixels. I think that should do it. All right, we're good. So that does it. But we still cannot see much of the graphic. Okay, all right, so this is where we're going to control. We're going to use other background properties to control our image here. So let's see, background size. Okay, there's 3: auto, contain, and cover. Let's say auto first, see how that works. All right, yeah, that's the default. Let's do contain. All right, that's kind of cool, but the image is duplicating, so I think it's going to be covered. All right, very good. So cover kind of works a little bit. Now we're going to also control the background position. So let's see, background position. Okay, and we're going to move it let's start by 50% and see what happens. Kind of like center it. All right, that kind of works there. All right, try 10% here. Okay, that works too. So column. All right, let me try 5. See what happens. All right, so I'm gonna see with 10% right now. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna try to move this thing to see how it's resizing. Okay. All right, that kind of works there. All right, so we have the banner. Now we have to work without a text here. All right, so that's the H1. So I'm gonna say header H1 to make sure I only target that one. Although most of the times there's only one H1. All right, so let's work with this one a little bit. So let's set a. I don't want it on the top, so I'm gonna use a property called transform so I can move it. Okay, so let's start with that one. So transform, and I'm gonna say translate X or Y. Okay, now you have to think about what you learned in math about the axis. So okay, so Y. So translate Y, and let's move it 100 pixels. See what that line does there. All right, that's good. That's kind of doing what we want, but it's still not there. Let's try 200 pixels. Okay, so that might work. Let's try 250. Okay, too much. So 200 pixels is fine. Very good. All right, now let's see. Let me move out of here. Okay. All right. So okay, so that's good. But now I need to work a little bit with the H1 to. It's hard to read, and if we look at the model that we have, we're gonna add this orange background here, semi-transparent background. It kind of looks really cool here. All right, so let's do that. All right, so we're gonna say background, and for that we're gonna use something called RGBA. Okay, red, green, blue, and alpha. All right, so that's gonna be for orange is 255, and I did my research on this one before. So 126. Adobe Color gives you all this information. Say, so 26 and 24. 24. That's orange. Very good. All right. And now we're gonna set the transparency to 60%. So that's 0.6. All right. So that's kind of cool. Semicolon. Now we need to make this way smaller. Just too much, and also we need to add some padding. Let's start with the padding since it's easier. So 10 pixels. All right, that's good. Okay, and now we're going to change the display. So okay, so the display, this is important. The H1 by default is block text, so I'm going to use the whole thing. Now I'm going to change it to inline block. Inline will be like the text inside a paragraph. So you can do things to it, but you cannot set width and height. Okay, with inline block, you can actually set those, but then it will also allow other elements to wrap around it, so to be next to it. So that's kind of like between block and inline. Hence the name. Makes sense, right? Inline block. All right, so very good. And let's see what can else we do here. We can round it. So let's say border radius. Okay, and we're gonna set it to 0 on the first, which is on this side right here. Then we're gonna round the other one by 25 pixels. Okay, right here you can see it. The next one is 25 pixels also, the other corner, and the last one is gonna be 0. Okay, so we get that kind of feel there. So semicolon. Now let's see. Okay, we're gonna implement the font. So let's do that. So it's gonna be, oh, I can copy from here. And that one I think is a Vichy one. So I'm just gonna copy from my notes here, paste it, and let's see, file, save. Okay, and it's not showing. Okay, I know it. All right, so I didn't copy the whole thing. I'm used to seeing this in a single line, so sorry. All right, let's do now. All right, very good. There you go. So we also go, that turned out to be very small, so let's increase the size. So font size, let's try 3 rem. All right, kind of. So 4 rem. All right, so rem and em. Em is the measure of the letter M on the original size font. So it's just a unit used in CSS. There's a lot to it, so if you want to learn about it, just research CSS EM. And then the rem is the root EM. So the difference between the two is that the EM will change depending on the parent. So if you assign an EM to the parent, and then that will affect an EM on the child. But if you say root EM, then it doesn't change. So that's the difference between those two. All right. So, okay, maybe at the end I'm kind of changing my mind. Maybe too big. Maybe let's do 3. Okay, let's do 3.5. Better. All right, so let's look at the what we're doing here. And now this part, the way of the border, is going to be on a different line. Okay, so let's look at our HTML and see how we're gonna do that. Okay, so I have the H1 and everything is in H1. Okay, so here I'm going to use an inline tag called span to separate those two, so I can break them. Okay, I could add a BR, by the way. You know, BR tag will work. No, wrong. You see, BR. Okay, so that will work. But then I want to add some formatting to the other one. That's why I need the span tag. Okay, so I'm gonna do more than just break it. So I'm gonna say span. Okay, and here I'm gonna close the span tag. All right. So now I can apply a class, but I can also target these with CSS. Hold on, what happened here? Okay. Let me get rid of that span tag. Okay, so again, I can add a class, but I really don't need it. I can target this. So header h1 span, because that's the relationship. All right, so let's go back to the style sheet here, and I'm gonna go here to my code, and I'm gonna say header. I can just say header span or header h1 span. Doesn't matter. It'll do it. All right. So on this one, I'm gonna change the display. Okay. I'm gonna set it to block, so they push each other down. So now I have the H2 and then the span thing. Now it's a block tag, so it went down there. All right, so that's cool. Then let's reduce the font size. I don't want these here. Kind of want them a little bit flush. So let's see, font size, and let's do 0.5 rem. See how? Oh my God, that's too much. So let's do a 0.82 and maybe C82. Yeah, that works. 84. Okay, almost. 86. Hey, 87. Okay. I bet if I do 90, it's gonna be too much. It's probably 9. All right. So now I'm doing an EM, and now this is being affected by the parent. So again, this is how the EM and REMs, once you figure them out, you can kind of do it by intuition, but it takes a little bit of practice there. Change the color of the font, and I forgot the, let me do some extra lines here so you can see better. Okay, and now color. Right, so let's do a shade of gray here. 333. All right, very good. Maybe something darker than that. No, 333 is fine. Now let's look at the graphic here. Okay, so here in the graphic we have a little shadow. Cool. All right, so let's add a text shadow to what we're doing here. So it's going to be connect text shadow. Okay, and it's gonna be 2 space 2. See, do I have to put commas on it? Text shadows, text shadows, text shadows. I don't think so. Then the color RGBA. So we're gonna use red, green, blue, and alpha again, and it's gonna be white. So we're gonna do 255, 255, 255, comma, and then we're gonna set it to 0.5%. And let's see. All right, file. Save all, and it's not working. So let's see what I did wrong. All right, so 230 pixels. All right, so there it is, 1 and pixels. Okay, there it is. So that's the value. So these numbers are going to move the shadow around. I think it's X and Y also. Let's do 10 so you can see that's gonna move it down. So that is the X, and the first one is Y, I believe. Let's change it to again 10. Yep. So no, that's moving on the X and Y. So the first one is the X, moves like that, and the other one moves up and down. All right. So to 2, that adds a little nice shadow, makes it a lot more readable. Very good. And here is our banner. So let's see. Okay. Might need to resize pretty nicely, so no problem. All right, so again, with all that information, I think you could create your own banner. Now, if you care to say, I'm going to quickly format the rest of the stuff. So, all right. And I think that looks pretty close. So file, you see, save all. All right, so let's refresh here. All right, and this is the challenge. This is the result. So I'll say it's pretty good. All right, so go ahead, experiment with all these settings and with all these attributes, and whatever else you can do. Take care, and I hope your Ninja banner comes up just as good as this one.